what do the people want? You know, what's
They
the word?
want real.
Authenticity.
People want real. They want authenticity, like Ryan's background.
You know how many people have asked me about my water skis?
It's pretty funny.
It actually looks like the way you're. Do you have a green screen or something?
No, no, I'm
Okay,
in a little
I
space.
don't know.
It's a very small space, so I think it's easy for the camera to.
To just focus in on, yeah, because it looks more realistic in your particular setting
Yeah,
than
I mean
most
the
people's.
walls like right behind me, and it's very small space.
All right, there we go.
That's why, yeah. If you have a lot of room behind you, then it just looks super fake.
Yeah.
So I'm doing white on white today, guys. I got the white tees. I told my wife I need more t-shirts. Like, and I don't want to go to like Nordstrom's and buy like $34 shirts. I want a pack. I want them to be in a plastic bag. So like a six.
You want Temu white t-shirts.
Yeah, I want just fucking t-shirts, man. I don't want anything fancy. So I got them delivered. I got a bunch of t-shirts now. I think they were like, I don't know, $4 a shirt. That's proper. That's where I'm at, you know. So how you guys holding up with this kind of crappy Florida weather, huh? Like yesterday was okay.
Terrible.
Yeah, but like right now,
yesterday was good, but yeah, today it's just freaking raining all morning.
I got so much boat work to do so I can get my butt out of here, and it's just not happening. It's killing me.
Yeah, the boat.
It's killing me. It's killing me.
It's killing me.
I got stuff out in the yard. No one's working on it because it's raining. I got people supposed to come here. They're not coming because it's raining.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
Mother Nature is gonna do what she's gonna do.
I know, but by the end of this month,
just-
I'm out of here. I'm out of here, guys. You guys are gonna be sitting here. I'm gonna
You'll
be
be
in the
out of
Bahamas.
Islands.
Well, I'll be in the Bahamas. I'll be talking to you when I arrive, but not on my journey there.
Well, we're definitely gonna do our Bullseye Sellers. Probably in like May or June. We'll do a Bullseye Sellers Bahama trip before you leave the Bahamas. We'll all come down. I'm sure many people would love to come down for 4-day weekend and just basically party for 4 days.
I mean,
I'm thinking
it is, in my opinion, the most beautiful place in the world.
Yeah. Wow. Let's do it. Dude.
It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, Cape Town is up there, but the Bahamas is just mind blowing.
Wow. Well, we're coming, and we got a built-in sailboat for you to take us on. So it's and there's resorts everywhere. Really, like 5-star
resorts everywhere. There's resorts everywhere.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it for sure. Sounds fun.
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna do it after I've been traveling all for the last week or so, 10 days, whatever, just because I'm home's under reconstruction.
Yeah, but we're talking May. We're talking May, Michael. By May, I'll convince you to do it. I promise.
Yeah, I need like a year off from traveling. And I'm traveling again next month. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm done traveling. It's not the life. That's Ryan's life. It's not my life.
It's a lot of work to travel. It is.
I used to be a traveling salesperson. I did that for 8 years. And then after you do that for a very long time, you're just like, I'm done. I'm home.
Yeah. Well, talking about home, I after our discussion last week, I went on Temu and I actually did buy something. And believe it or not, you can buy with Apple Pay, which made me feel more comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
So
exactly. It's secure.
So yeah, I paid with Apple Pay. I spent $60. I've got a bunch of stuff.
$60.
I'm gonna just give I'm gonna give my feedback on what I think is going on. And
I want to see all your items too. Like,
I mean, it was mostly like kitchen stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
like what do you call this? Anyway, it was like stuff to put hot plates on, and like a temperature gauge, and just stuff like that, like smaller stuff. And honestly, I don't think that Amazon has anything to worry about, and Amazon sellers have anything to worry about. I mean, it's gonna come here maybe next week if I'm lucky. Maybe. Yeah. Sure, I spent $60 instead of 200 is what they were telling me. But then I went and I searched the stuff on Amazon. Some of the stuff is not like that much more on Amazon, and I get it next day. It's like honestly a few dollars difference.
Yeah. So for a few dollars, you get convenience.
Yeah, I don't think that Amazon sellers have much to worry about it. I mean, I did it for the sake of just trying it. We spoke it up, and I was like, okay, this sounds like something I got to get involved in and just like get the experience. And yes, it's probably a great deal. I'm sure the stuff that's coming is going to be fine and the same quality, but I'm waiting a long time. Yeah, Amazon's my go-to for sure.
Okay.
The only way to use Temu is to basically just go for their flash sales for 90% off, and you get like a $30 item for $2. Which you just like, you look at the same item on Amazon, it is $30, and so they just do these like crazy slot machine type promos that basically make you go. Like, I just spent $19 on Temu last week, and because everything was on flash sale, like $2, $1.30, 95% off, clearance, whatever. And I was like, oh, I need this. But I think it's more of a browse site for that reason. Like, if you actually want your items, you should go to Amazon. Like, if you're looking for specific things, like you need tongs or kitchen stuff or
Yeah,
thermometers, like you go to Amazon to shop because it's a search engine, right? So you search for those specific things. If you want to go just browse for fun and go for flash sales, that's for Temu. It's like I think that's their strategy.
but is that sustainable, Michael? I mean, is that
For
sustainable
them,
for them?
it's sustainable for me.
Yeah, for them as a business model, I don't know. I think
Well, I don't know. I think they're going to be losing money on a lot of those things
They're
just with
losing a
shipping
lot.
costs alone. Free shipping on 7 items that I got for $20.
I think
yeah,
Temu.
yeah.
I think Temu is just trying to get market share right now. I think there's some Super Bowl stuff coming up. I think they're just spending, and if whoever's backing them can burn a couple $1 billion a year, it might work out for them. There's definitely a bargain audience in the U.S. that will wait 2 weeks to save $12 on an item for sure. Like, especially if you're buying $150 worth of shit, that's like 6 or 7 items. That savings could be $50, and there's a lot of people that's a big deal. $50.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think we are necessarily the right market. We're not all. None of us are deal seekers, by the way. None of us. We're all just kind of buy it. We're all convenience guys right here. I know that for sure. Like, Michael's not over there looking for 12 cents off his, bag of rice. So it's just I do feel like deal seekers are kind of a different audience. They are men, they are women, more women than men for sure, and they're on a fixed salary. These are kind of people that are on whatever they can spend each month is pretty capped. So they're willing to wait $11 to get a bunch more stuff for that month. So we'll see how it goes. I've been having like existential crisis of because I've been doing a lot of calls with Amazon brands, guys, and I vet new calls coming in. I do calls with you guys a lot, and I'm kind of at the point where I feel like people need to just wake up and smell the chocolate with their offer. I know I'm pivoting here from Temu, but it's just kind of a point of Amazon. It's a topic I want to talk about, which is their offer. Like, a lot of people just don't really rethink the actual offer, and they're pushing their ads really hard, and they're like giving a lot of shit to the PPC team if they have one, or they're like thinking, or they think Google's going to solve their problems, or they're thinking, oh, we need influencers. That's what we need. That's what we're doing wrong. And they're looking at every freaking thing other than the offer itself. And it just frustrates the shit out of me, because when I go look at the offer, I'm like, your offer sucks. And what does that mean? It means your price either sucks or your product just isn't cooler or more clickable or more attractive than every other product that's on the first page, the top of the first page. Why do you think people should click on your product? And why do you think PPC is going to solve anything? And why do you think TikTok influencers are going to solve anything? And it's hard for people to hear. It's just hard because I'm basically shitting on their dreams. Like, you need to fix your offer, and that isn't that easy to do. And that's more and more conversations, guys. It's becoming like pretty widespread of like me being the bad
It's the
guy.
hardest thing. It's the hardest thing to do. I mean, like, it is, and it also is the hardest thing to actually confront, because, I mean, you really, to fix your offer and to make the perfect offer, you have to go and really do your due diligence, homework, and on the most dreaded subject, manufacturing. So it's just like there's so much dread on going and finding and seeking a new manufacturer to make, whether it's innovating a new product or a new formula or new something that's different, or trying to find a cheaper manufacturers so you can actually improve your offer. Because most sellers are very just like, they found a manufacturer, it's $8, everybody's selling it for 20, but the $20 retail, they have to buy it for 8. With Amazon, there's no profit in that. Like there's very little. You can spend maybe 5% or 8% of PPC, but you can't scale a company with so little spend. And then of course now you have to go do all your homework and research to find a manufacturer to make it for $4. And then sometimes they want more cues, and you have to go through all of this talking to all these different people. And that's one of the people are here to do an e-commerce company and just press some buttons and make some money. They don't want to actually have to go physically talk to a bunch of people and make deals. But that's really what it comes down to. So you can work on your offer to become the same price or more competitive pricing. Then I think there's a good, the company that I follow a lot, is that's what they do full time. They put all of their resources into negotiating with manufacturers to find the best possible price for the highest quality item to come in cheaper than every other person. And they are doing $200 million because of that thing. And it's all private label, but that's their strategy. It's just the offer. And they're a $200 million Amazon seller.
Here's a good example, Michael. Met with a client. He's a PPC client of ours. Ryan, client of yours too. We'll just first name Jeremy, and he listened to me. He was just like, tell me what to do. And I looked at his price point. I researched his category. I searched the keywords, and I discovered that there was 2 shelves. There was the $10 shelf and the $25, $30 shelf. So I'm like, okay, you're not going to be in the $10 shelf. The $10 shelf is like McDonald's shelf, but you can be the best price in the $30 shelf. And the best price there right now is about $22.99. So what's your cost of goods? We looked at it. He's like, I could do it. It's going to be a little, it'll hurt in the beginning, but it will I have a high reorder rate so I can afford it. So we're like, good, let's go to $19.99. He went from $22.99 to $19.99. The product always sells 40 to 50 a day. And he sold 111 units yesterday. So it's like $2, $3, I think, $3 difference, 10% price difference, or 23 down to $19.99 is what, 15% price difference. He was now the best offer on the shelf for that price point, and he didn't change anything else. So it is easy to go to price. Like, I don't want people to think price is something that they should always focus on. Just keep lowering your price down to, $1. But sometimes it is as simple as actually just having your pricing structure figured out and knowing where you stand and knowing where you don't belong. And you don't belong competing with 80,000 reviews in a big box brand that everyone recognizes. But there are people out there that would love to save $3 and will buy yours over that brand. But if you're the same price as that brand, why would you think anybody would buy your product when they don't know you and they know him? So he is doing repackaging changes. He is doing a new top to his package. But at the end of the day, he was like, I would rather sell 111 units at a $3 discount than 50 units every day of the week. And look how many more customers he's going to get out of the deal, So it's almost so simple. I feel like I should just do a webinar, on how good's your offer. Maybe we should do something like that. Maybe we should talk to people about what's your offer? Let's actually look at the actual offer. Let's not talk about your listing. Let's not talk about your bullet points. How good's your offer? Is it appealing?
I think sums up the basics of pretty much all strategy across all e-commerce, including Shopify. The whole thing of scaling Shopify is the offer, and it's the offer page.
Yeah.
It is, how good is your offer? How big of a value do I get? And how unique is your proposition? And Amazon is every single Amazon detail page is an offer page. It is a landing page. It is a funnel page. It is whatever you want to call it, right? But it is a page, and they're going to look over your offer. and how much value are they getting for the money, and what kind of how is it marketed? Is it premium? Is it not? And all those things about it, right? And so if you have just a regular Joe Blow offer, I mean, how do you think you're going to sell 100 units a day? If you're the same as everybody else, same price point, same whatever, it's nothing. There's no unique value proposition.
No.
I think it's standard e-commerce marketing, and that's I think what we overcomplexify it with its PPC and the amount of and this and that and and how much external traffic. But in the end, the most important thing is the basics, is the actual enticement of that Amazon detail page, the branding, and the offer that comes with it. And I'll tell you that there's 1% of sellers that are conquering Amazon right now, and 99% of sellers have those points out that are failing.
And I think the biggest fundamental on that 99%, like you said, in manufacturing, is they didn't figure out the pricing structure. They didn't figure out the cost of goods. So they'll never be the right offer at the end. Even if they have the, unless they have the coolest branding of all time, which can get away with a high price point. But most people aren't that creative. I'm not exempt from that category. I'm not that creative. But they come in at like a $12 cost of goods. Everyone's selling it for 20, 22. And unless their branding is unbelievable, they're doomed to fail. And I think that's the number one reason people fail, is their cost of goods. And it would be nice to have access to low cost of goods or some sort of rep. What's the company that you were talking about? It's like a broker. What is it? Where they like negotiate for you?
Negotiate for you? No, I'm saying that they have their own company. They have a whole team of people that.
So they are the brand
for internal. Yeah, they are the brand. The brand is so focused on supply chain, and each product that they source, they will talk to 10 different manufacturers to get the best quality and the best price, and they will work it pre-product launch. And that's the due diligence and research and work they put into it. And they're a huge company, and they grew really rapidly, but their strategy was built around just that point, is the offer, right? Like how good. And then of course the other side of it, once they find the manufacturer, they find the piece, then they brand it, and then they make it look premium, because it is a premium part or whatever, it's so. And yeah, I mean, I know the strategy really well, and that's the strategy. It's just like a lot of sellers don't want to go into, talking to 15, 10 different manufacturers, doing their homework, comparing quality, getting the samples beforehand. Like, you have to get 10 different samples, really compare them, give them to friends and survey them, and which one's better. Let's test them all out. Like, that's a lot of work and a lot of homework to do but just on the pre-launch. But also, you don't have you have to have patience to do that. It takes like a month or two of that whole thing, and then now you place the order based on your confidence. And then of course you have to make sure that is the exact product that you wanted. That's going to be like, because it was you order from China or whatever, they're going to say like, here's a great sample, but here's what we're actually making, and that becomes a problem. And that happens a lot. It's very frequent. So now you have to do, hire inspection companies and go through all the extra stuff on your first order to make sure that you are really getting the item. So then when you do launch it, you're launching for cheaper, and you're better than everybody else because you put on all the extra work at the beginning.
Makes me wonder, first, price or product, find a product at the right price and then figure out how to market it, or like find the area where you want to sell and then find it for the right price.
Well, yeah, I think finding the area where you want to sell is the most important, because you're going to find yourself competing against keywords that are going to cost you $7 a click. You're dead in the water, which is like a more of a holistic approach that I wanted to just bring in. Is that I see so many times people come to me and they say, okay, Ryan, I'm dying everywhere else. I need off of Amazon marketing. And I say, great, let's look at your margins. They don't have any margin. How could they possibly afford to pay me for my services, and on top of that, the ad spend, to get the CPC and CPA at a level that's going to make them money? And that has to be figured out first. If you don't know what you're going to pay per click on Amazon, off of Amazon for your main keywords to acquire new clients, your CPA, you have to be able to swallow that in your margin every single day to be able to make it in ecom. There is no other way that you're going to grow, because you can ride a wave for so long. And then when that wave is done, that sort of pie has stopped expanding, and you're not organically getting new customers, the only way you're going to get more customers is by buying them. And if you can't afford to buy them with your margin, you're not going to grow.
That's right. Well, that's why like every product launch or pre-launch, you just do a COGS analysis sheet. You know, you want to build in the model of your business. So if you're going to be if that particular product is going to have a 30% of its gross income going to ads, whether external, internal, Amazon, build that into your model. So like I typically what I do when I price products, or I try to do this anyway, is a 1.5 markup of all the fees associated with selling. It could actually cost me, like if I buy a product for $5, I'm selling for 25, but it actually costs me 15 or 20 to really sell it. Like I have to spend 20 bucks to acquire a sale.
And what do you
of course I'm selling it for 25.
In that breakdown? Like, what do you include of all those fees?
I mean, everything. So you don't want to miss a single beat. I mean, you want to include your product costs, of course. You're going to include your FBA fees, shipping fees, pick and pack fees, your fees per unit. I include the fees per unit to get the item transported around. So like typically I'll take some products are bigger. They'll take 60 cents a unit to transport them into FBA warehouses. Some items are only 20 cents per unit to ship around, right? So you build that in. You could also just do it. It's very easy when you look at your transport costs to look at how much you're actually paying per unit. So that way you build that into your thing, because that's the little place where a lot of people will start losing money, is just on transportation of the product. So you build that in, you build any ad. So an easy way to do it is how much is the product selling? It's selling 100 units a day at 20 bucks, right? It's selling $2,000 a day. So and if you're spending $200 a day, right, you're at 10% of your ads. If you calculate everything together, right, you're spending let's about $100 a day in Amazon ads, you're spending $100 a day in Google. So you build that into the cost too. So you take your percentage, and you could do this on a monthly basis. And then at that point, any other possible fees associated with selling that unit, and then you basically plug in your retail price. So now you do it like this on a Google sheet or Excel. You just plug in all the formulas, and then you'll see like a retail price, your margin is 5% after everything. It's very common that most sellers I'll see that I work with is just they'll come in that they're at 5% margin after everything. They're like, oh, I didn't know that. And I'm like, it's very easy when you just start plugging in the data.
So they just gross profit. They're like, I buy it for 5, I sell it for 20, I should be fine. And they don't factor in. They're really
so that's what most sellers make a mistake, that they're like at a 4x markup of manufacturing costs. But no, that's the rookie mistake. You never want to do a markup based on manufacturing costs, because every unit has so many variables with what it takes to really sell it. In supplements, it costs more to sell. And in certain categories, it costs more to sell. Heavier items cost more to sell. Sure, you bought a heavy item for $5 and you're selling it for $25. That's great. But you don't realize that it costs $10 just to transport it per unit, right? So you start taking all those, and then now you really need to be selling that item for $50 in order to make a 20% margin after everything. So it's a 1.5 markup on all the costs associated to selling it. So like my minimum criteria that I say is 1.5. Ideally, if you get a 2, you get a 2x markup on all your costs, you're at 50% profit.
Okay. Seems easy enough. And people should be doing this.
Yeah, when you start.
Yeah. How do they do it beforehand if they don't really know what it costs to acquire a customer? Like, you kind of have to guess if you haven't bought.
No, I mean, you could get a fair idea. You know, there's enough tools out there to give you a fair idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, you use basic, like even an Amazon knowledge. Okay, like I'm always going to launch a product with 50% tacos. So how much money am I going to lose on a product launch? Right? So I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna go in, I'm I'm going to spend $100 in PPC to launch this product, right? I'm also going to do some rebates and blah, 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 and all this other stuff, whatever, to go and get some traction. I'm going to send some email blasts, whatever, at a discounted price. So, and then, so like, I know that in the first 60 days, I try to break even. Like I will try to break even on a product launch. And so I'll plug all that information in, and then I'll find my break-even price. My break-even price, I could sell it at $14.99, which is actually a 3x markup. But I know with ads costs and everything else, I'm going to lose money in every sale. So I'm going to go to $21.49, and then I'm break even in every sale, including ads. So it's fine. I'll break even for 3 months, 4 months, get the product traction at break even, and then I'll start slowly increasing the price.
You said it here, guys, and that was free of charge. Free of charge. Yeah, you kind of learn this after managing dozens and dozens of brands and kind of getting that there's a common denominator to pretty much everyone's mistakes, and it's really obvious to us. But I feel like if you're alone and you're kind of like watching YouTube videos and trying to figure out how to sell on Amazon, it's not so obvious. It's just not. And there's so much overselling it out there of like, private label, passive income. It's so not passive. It takes years to get passive. I mean, it's probably passive when you sell. That's what is when you exit.
In a physical products business, yeah, I mean, unless you're like if you're running at a 2x markup, 50% margin, and you're super lean and clean, you found a niche that sells without huge advertising costs. Yeah, you found the golden egg. You're good to go.
The golden egg, though, maybe.
But even so, if you did find the golden egg, here's what's going to happen. If you start selling 20 units a day, and then, hey, it's getting some traction, but then all of a sudden start selling 70, 80 units a day. And hey, whoa, we got a lot more traction. Okay, I got to place a big reorder. Oh shit, you placed a reorder, but now it's selling 200 units a day. Guess what you're doing? You're taking out Amazon loans to fund that inventory, right? So a physical products business, when you find the golden egg, you got to have investment, you got to have capital, you got to have Amazon loans or bank loans or whatever, right? To get the business to the point where it's self-sustaining, because it's not going to be self-sustaining if you're growing that rapidly. No business in history, including Uber, that grew that rapidly was able to be self-sustaining. They had to take on investors, they had to take on loans. And that's in the digital space. I mean, imagine in a physical product space, you have to keep buying more inventory. So, and then once you get past that point, I've seen businesses where they finally reach the point where now they can start making those debt payments, and they're putting a lot of money toward those, like substantial. I mean, it takes time. It takes, if you have an amazing sales, 8 months, a year, and then you'll start paying everything off, and then you'll become debt free. And then after 2 years, and then finally you're like taking a lot of money home. But with really slow controlled growth, like 5% a month, 3% a month, it's a little easier, but also you're not making as much money. And you don't have as bright in the future because it's super slow. It's going to take you 10 years to build that thing up to the point where you have, sustainable income.
Yeah. What do you guys think about this whole, so Amazon EU just broke 2 billion items that are available same or next day. And
Wow.
just to compare that, the US is 4 billion. So that kind of surprised me, was how quick the EU is now half of what's the population of the EU? It's probably half. Like, EU is not that populated. I mean, it's probably
you're thinking about 5 countries, right? Germany, Italy, Spain, France, and the UK.
Yeah. So the EU obviously isn't, there's no Hungary, Greece, Latvia, these other but if you look at it, the population of what is it? France. Population.
Well, you have to also think that you can go from those other neighboring countries because they're so close together and buy from. If you're in Austria, you can buy from Amazon Germany, right? So you think that you're also including the population of Austria, and that too, they're buying those Amazon items. It's like, the EU for Amazon is like the United States. I mean, they're all neighboring states, but in this case, they're countries. Okay. So anyone can log into Amazon Germany, can log into France, And even if they're in Greece, you're going to go on one of those platforms and buy. So if you have all that surrounding population buying from Amazon dot SP Spain or FR France or any of those neighboring countries.
So EU right now is about 100 million more than the US, the entire EU. It's like 450. US is 330. So million, obviously. So it's a little bit more population, but it's about half of the volume. But that half of the volume is definitely concentrated. Like let's be honest, that half of the volume is really going to be focused in Germany, France, Italy, Spain. Obviously, because of Brexit, there's no UK. I don't know how much there's Sweden and those kind of Scandinavian countries. I'm not really sure, but it makes me think that like the next great frontier, the gold rush, is kind of going back to the EU because that network is probably cost effective, especially if they are doing kind of FC transfers on close to borders and offering opportunities for neighboring countries to get products easily. The fact that 2 billion products are available same or next day, what does that tell you for 2-day shipping? 2-day shipping is probably an additional how many billion products? So Europe is pretty badass right now, guys.
No, I mean, if you really think about it from that perspective, I mean, with more population and less available products to purchase, I mean, it's kind of like, hey, that's pretty cool. Europe is I mean, I know sellers that crush it in Europe and can't really penetrate the market in the US. Like it's not they filled holes in the demand that were there, and then but the demand was already so filled in the US, there's still huge opportunities for a lot of categories in Europe. I mean, especially like I saw those opportunities like 10 years ago. There's just nothing that existed on the search. So our search volume, but nobody could really sell anything yet. And now those things are filling up, but there's still plenty. So I mean, half the products of the US and bigger population, there's going to be areas where if you know where to look, you can find those.
That's a good point. So half the products, over 100 million population increase, is just more demand, less supply. It's just simple math, right? It's simple economics. Yeah. So I guess, what have you heard as regards to, obviously we have clients in the EU, but what is your familiarity with like the simplicity or complexity of launching products in the EU to be able to actually take full advantage of all those different locations and all that demand?
I mean, it depends on the category. Like supplements and beauty, you're going to have a lot more red tape in the EU. So a lot of supplement and beauty sellers in those categories, which are very common, are going to go through more label changes, more regulations. They have to really be vetted basically get in those countries. But simple kitchenware items, home decor type items are way easier to get there. I mean, and then you just have to have a really good setup for VAT tax. So like a good company that you work with, you have to see, like when you go to those countries, you're going to have different transportation costs. You got to include those, like we talked about earlier, in your cog sheet, because it's so easy to lose money. I went to Europe, lost money because I wasn't prepared. Like I did not calculate all the costs that really go into selling in Europe. Your price point needs to be a little bit different because it can't be the same as the US. It's going to, obviously it's in euros or pounds or whatever it's going to be in, but you have to calculate all the extra fees and VAT tax and so on and so forth that really goes into selling something there. So if you have you're very good with numbers, you spreadsheet everything out, you're very prepared, you have the companies that you're working with, there's plenty out there for international sales, you're good to go. And just make sure you do your homework on if your product is actually eligible to sell there. Whether it's supplements or beauty. If you're outside of supplements, beauty, just home decor or kitchen, you should be very easy and straightforward. But I mean, yeah, if you happen to see that your product in the US is not really well established in Europe, and you're qualified to get in there, take it in there. Absolutely, do whatever you have to do. But just do your homework and find your companies and really calculate your costs, because it's easy to lose money in Europe.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So then, what's the diet look like these days, boys? What are you guys eating?
macaroni and cheese and top ramen. Just kidding. I don't do that.
Perfect.
College food, man. I'm 34. I gotta still live like I'm 10.
Good luck with that.
Thanks.
Are you guys eating breakfast or what?
No,
I hate eating breakfast. I try to avoid it at all costs.
I'll have a protein
I've
shake.
never been a breakfast guy. See, I don't even do that. I just have like the only thing I do, which I need to actually do correctly, is fat. Like I love fasting in the morning. My body has zero desire to eat food in the morning. But I will get hungry at noon. But I do have like cream in my coffee, which breaks the fast. But I just love the cream in coffee.
I did that yesterday. I fasted air quotes until 4:30, and I did have a coffee with cream, and I didn't count it as fasting in my head because I just can't live without it. So it was almost like I gave myself a pass. But I still obviously my caloric intake yesterday, outside the fact that we went out to eat at 4:30 at this Italian restaurant. And if you're trying to be healthy, don't go to an Italian restaurant. It's just pretty much. And I was all like righteous, and I showed up, and I'm like, I'll have the Italian sausage and the meatballs, which has a little bit of breadcrumbs, but I was like, I'm not having any pasta. So I ate the Italian sausage, I ate the meatballs, and then they bring this fresh hot bread. And I'm like, I gotta dip the bread in the sauce. You know, you gotta do that at least once.
You gotta do that.
I gotta do it. So I dip the bread in the sauce. Next thing you know, they're like pouring this very nice Italian white wine. I'll have a sip of the wine just to try the wine a little bit. Had the wine. Then next thing you know, pesto pastas all over the table. I'll try the pesto. I heard they're famous for their pesto. Let's just try the pesto. I eat half the fucking thing. So the good thing is
big of the bites.
The good thing is my fasting window was an hour, maybe an hour. So I did stop eating after there, and I haven't eaten since. But I feel like I just basically didn't get anything done yesterday because I ate so much food and carbs at this Italian restaurant that I wiped out any benefits to fasting. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like yesterday is just yesterday's like a zero gain day, basically. Maybe a negative.
Well, when's the last time you had a cheat meal?
It's been a while.
So it's okay. I mean, actually, it's not bad. There's benefits in what you did for your body. Like you can't go for months or like a month or two and just have no carbs and no like extra shock to your system. Basically, when you do that and you had a high carb load day, one, you're going to be less bloated today. Probably you're going to feel a little tighter. Your muscles are going to be a little more bloated because like if you want a good beach day, I'll give you guys a tip. If you want a good beach day, carb load the night before. You eat like a big bowl of oatmeal, healthy carbs. Pasta's a little bit far, but you'll feel your muscles will actually feel bigger and your skin will be tighter against your skin. And that's like a little hack for having like a good beach day look or beach bod. So if you're working out and you just eat a big bowl of oatmeal or something the night before, and you'll look better the next day, and you'll actually feel like your muscles are a little bloated up too. But otherwise, like you doing it regularly, it's going to defeat the purpose. But what you did actually has metabolic benefits.
I knew that.
You guys are far more into this than me. I used to do a lot more fasting than I do now, and I'll still do some. But honestly, I hit the point where I'm just like, I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna eat what I'm gonna eat, and as long as I'm doing some exercise, I'm gonna do my exercise. Because if I'm gonna keep myself from eating the food that makes me happy, I'm less happy. I don't know why I would want to do that. You know,
am I unhealthy? Spoken like a true non-American though, because you can't do that in America. You can do that in other countries and eat what you want to eat, but you do that here, you're 380 pounds,
and you're not happy when you're 380 pounds right now.
No, sure, you're probably right.
Ryan, you do have a great metabolism. You are thin, and I think that for some fucking weird reason it works for you. But most Americans have that same idea of like, I'd rather die a happy man and eat my French fries and French toast. But they end up getting psoriasis. They end up getting diabetes. They end up.
I suppose there's a limit. I mean, I'm also a no sugar guy, so maybe that helps.
Of course, it helps.
100%. Yeah.
Refined sugar.
I do zero sugar.
There's two evils in the world: refined sugar and seed oils. Those are the two evils. So if you're if you're eating food in other countries for the majority of your life,
yeah,
You're not eating American prepackaged or seed oils and all that shit.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
not me.
you're gonna have a much better life. Like it. I mean, the problem with Americans, if we try to eat what we want, it's very limited what we should actually eat versus what's available to eat.
Mm.
So what's available to eat everywhere, including in the natural food stores, is all seed oil and crap. And that's what causes serious health problems. Like you eat anywhere else besides the US and pretty much any other meal, including pasta and pizza, you're still healthy because there's not shit in it. There's not like weird preservatives and phenoxyethanols and whatever food dyes and all these weird artificial colors and flavors and and the list goes on for, and seed oil, whatever, right? So yeah, you're gonna be better off, and you're gonna have a naturally better metabolism than us Americans and everything else.
So Ryan, I want to
Well-
hear about your rollerblades. You're the only guy I know that rollerblades.
Inline skating, Ian.
You're a rollerblader, okay?
So yeah, I mean, Kai's been pushing me to get onto the skate park with him for a while, and I tried skateboarding, and I was like, I'm gonna kill myself if I try to get back into skating at this point. I was never good at it when I was his age. I could kind of get by, and I would drop into a half pipe, small. But I mean, the 25 years later, forget it. So I always used to be semi-decent at rollerblading. So I found myself a decently priced pair of skates online, ordered them, put them on, and went straight to the skate park with Kai. And it was it was an experience. I did fall. I did get a little roasty, but I mean it was fantastic. My whole body was hurting from my back to my stomach to because you're balancing all the time. I mean all the new rollerblades, even if you're getting just a crappy pair of rollerblades, are like 25 years ago the pro model that they wish they had. It's incredible. So super quick. You've only got two wheels really. The two inside wheels are tiny little guys for grinding, which I haven't attempted yet. Kai keeps talking me into it. But yeah, long story short, it's a good thing. I posted a video to Facebook, and I had some people that I hadn't heard from in years cheering me on, saying, "Go, old man."
Go, old man, I love it.
There we go.
So let me see. I think I got a video of you somewhere for the audience. I think I got a video for the audience here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna expand it, but this is for everybody out there. This is our Ryan blading it up. Okay, here we go.
Wow.
Okay, one more time. Oh, it's so funny.
If you do that,
What's that?
Yeah. It's
you need to burn off all those artificial foods.
takes a bit of balls. Kai pushed me a lot.
I could hear your blades like hit the ground.
I crap myself every time I go there. Kai's like, you got to just send it, Dad. Just send it. I'm like, my boy, you don't know how much that takes from me. You can send it. Me, a little bit different. He's like, no, it's the same. Send it.
So, have you gone back since, or was that your only time out?
No, I went twice last week, and I'm, providing the weather starts behaving, I'll go again this week too. I feel fantastic afterwards.
Yeah, are you loosening up a little bit? Like the muscles are starting to loosen a little bit, and
much better, much better.
Yeah, because you look kind of tight. You look like, because that was your first time, I could tell.
No, I was wobbling. I was like half falling backwards all the time. It was like horrible. It was so bad. But I'm getting better. Watch, you're gonna see.
I'm gonna show
New
video. Everyone wants to see your improvement, so that's day one.
Yeah.
We'll follow your journey as the guy bringing back the '90s, Ryan Duminy. He's bringing it back.
You don't realize how people perceive you. I don't feel like I'm an old man at all. I don't feel like, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm a kid. And there was this guy, I mean, he was at least late 20s at the park with I think a younger kid there, maybe his very young kid. And I went past him and he sort of skated right in front of me. I sort of wobbled a little bit and he looks at me, so sorry, sir, so sorry. I thought to my head, I'm like, where am I? It's calling me sir. I'm just like him, man.
I had that happen recently too. Like some kid called me sir, and I was like, "But aren't we like homies?" Me and he's like 12-year-old.
That's it.
I was like, "Aren't we the same?" Like, let's get some Nerf guns and run around.
That's right.
It's weird when you're all of a sudden 40. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I'm 35 next month, and that's how I'm feeling now too. It's just like, oh shit, I'm the old guy, and and then like you get little comments from kids, oh the older guy, the old guy, and I'm like, only 35.
You took it to me? Yeah. Anyway, this old guy's gonna bring it back.
So what do you guys think about, like, a little bit of business news? What do you guys think about Snapchat? They're laying off 10% of their global workforce. It kind of makes me think, because I saw a commercial for Snapchat at the Grammys last night. Yes, I watched the Grammys. I don't know why. My son really wanted to watch it, but it reminded me. I was like, oh yeah, Snapchat. Like, I forgot about Snapchat. Is Snapchat still a thing? I mean, I'm not asking the right audience here, 40-something-year-old, 35-year-old, but you guys hear much about Snapchat lately?
No idea.
Yeah, I don't have much information. I mean, I would assume that Twitter, I mean, sorry, not Twitter,
X.
TikTok definitely had a nice impact in a lot of other social media channels and what people are using actively. So I think probably the activity level will drop down with the advent of TikTok, would be my guess. But Snapchat was definitely targeting younger, really young. I mean, there was, from what I know, a lot of the users were pre-20s. So, and then now the TikTok also hits those people too. So, it's kind of like, I don't know which one you're going to use, but TikTok's way more popular and way bigger than Snapchat. I'm guessing there's still have a lot of users, but I don't know. I personally have never really used it, but I think I've always been 5 or 6 years too old to use it. Maybe even 10 years too old to use it.
I was easily 10 years too old. Maybe more. Like, for me, I feel like I was a Facebook kid,
Oh, yeah.
Facebook came out when I was 24, 23. And I was eager to try it. 23, it's social network, put my profile. Aubrey even made me a MySpace profile before that, like in 2005. She's like, you got to get on MySpace. So she made me a MySpace profile and posted a bunch of photos of me. And I think it's probably still somewhere in the dark web, but
no, you can still find it. You can still find your MySpace profile. I found mine actually like a year ago, and I was like, oh my god, like my 16-year-old pictures of because I was 16 when I was using MySpace, 16 to 18.
Yeah. So then I did the Facebook thing. I was on Facebook, and then Instagram came out like 2010, 2011, and I couldn't manage two. I was like, I'm Facebook only. I can't manage Facebook, responding, posting, and Instagram, because they weren't together. They weren't one unit. So it was like a separate ordeal, and it was all take the best photo. That's how Instagram was, right? Take the nice photo. And then it took me about till 2019 to actually, maybe 18, to actually get on Instagram and like it. And then now I hate Facebook, and I'm never on Facebook. Like, I go on Facebook to, like, maybe if I have a child and I need to, like, tell my friends that I had a child, that's it. But outside of that, I'm not on Facebook. And when I go there, there's like
Facebook is like LinkedIn now.
Oh, I hate it. And I realized something. This might sound kind of shallow and a little bit antisocial, but I don't want to know what my friends are doing. I actually don't. Like, the people that I want to know what they're doing are people that are unreachable to me. Like, I want to know I want to know like what's The Rock doing today? Like that's cool to me. Like, oh, The Rock in his private jet. That's awesome. I wonder what he's up to today. But I don't care about like that kid I went to school with and he got a good grocery haul. I don't care about that for some reason. So Instagram's become a thing where I'm kind of like, funny enough is Ryan's actually kind of the one person I am friends with on Instagram that I actually do care what he's doing, because he has a cool life. He like sails on a boat and he's got interesting things to tell me. But if Ryan was just living in the suburbs and buying groceries and showing photos of his Philly cheesesteak, I'd be like, boring, don't care, Ryan, right? So that's why I don't
know. I'm the same boat. Besides Facebook, for the only reason I would use Facebook now is for the 90% for the business aspect of it. It's like, for me, it's like LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
What do you mean? So you're going to connect with a client or a potential client or supplier? You're just going to be like their buddy on Facebook?
I get
even I find staff.
Yeah.
And friends of staff will refer using Facebook. Like all my staff have Facebook, clients, Facebook groups, Amazon seller groups, Facebook. It's all business.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have I have like groups that I'm in. Because Facebook is primarily like groups. Like it's just groups of people. Like the content aspect of it is you go to Instagram for the content. If you want to see content or whatever, it's in Facebook is just groups and threads and business and That's what I think it's just becoming for me personally. I don't know about everybody else, but it's like a way to connect with, like, also Facebook Messenger is probably my most used.
Me too.
Mm.
Just the Messenger app alone is my most used, because it's like I don't have anybody's phone number, but you can literally look up, type in their name and and they're there and you can message them.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't need people's phone number anymore.
It's like a WhatsApp without needing the number. It's really nice.
It's WhatsApp. It's a competitor technically to WhatsApp, without needing their phone number. So just by their first and last name and their picture. So it's like, so that aspect I think is really cool what Facebook has done. And, but in the end, as our generation in 20, 30 years, I mean, Facebook's got a limited time clock going, unless they dramatically, they have cool products coming out. But otherwise, I think they have a lifespan. Instagram still has a lot of life left in it. Luckily, Facebook owns them. And then it's, of course, it's following. If you want to follow someone's life, it's TikTok. You're going to follow them on TikTok, you're going to follow their life. And they're going to influence you, whether it's an old friend or just an influencer.
I'm not really on TikTok. I'm kind of having that same problem I had with when Instagram came out. I'm kind of like, I'm having a hard time going from from Facebook to Instagram was hard for me. And then from Instagram to TikTok, because I don't know if I can handle both. I'm not one of those like, let's do multiple socials like my wife. My wife will just she can just manage it all. For me, it's like I kind of pick one and I just roll. And I'm a follower. I'm not a poster. So I'm a content absorber, learner. Love podcast clips. I'm a podcast junkie. But I don't know if I don't see the point of doing the same thing I'm doing on TikTok that I'm doing on Instagram. Like, why? It's going to be the same thing. I'm going to follow the same shit. What's the point? It's just different.
Yeah, like Instagram Reels is going to be the same as TikTok.
Exactly.
They're just competing with TikTok.
Yeah, it's the same thing as like YouTube Shorts. I'm kind of like, what's the point? I have Instagram. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd say is that TikTok is but a little more user friendly with a better algorithm than Instagram. So they'll show you more relevant content to what you're looking for.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. We'll see.
So if you're looking at Instagram Reels versus TikTok, they'll just like, if you're following comedians, if you're following podcasters, and the second you watch a whole video from TikTok, it'll show you more and more of that and more of that. It'll basically
Instagram too. If I go slow, like I did this once like a week ago, there was like cow videos because I, randomly I'll get into like farm animal kicks. I'm like, oh, cute. There's a cow video and I went slow. I was like, kind of laughing.
And then more cow videos. Yeah.
I swear to God, I got cows up the butt for like 3 days. Just cow. And I went on a cow kick. And then now when I see the cow videos, I go as fast as I can. No,
yes.
I don't want to see it. There's probably a faster way of like saying I'm not interested, but I'm like on a game. I have to like, no more cows.
I know that one. I do the same thing.
All right, guys.
Yeah, I'll do it a kick and then I'll get rid of it.
All right, guys. This was another episode of random chit chat and Ryan rollerblading with the crew. It was awesome. We'll see you next week. In the meantime, Ryan, take more videos, please. We really appreciate those videos. Like, you know,
There's gonna be more and more coming up. It's been a few tough months of a lot of work.